Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Sweeties.
We are two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which is, salty, which is sweet, which is barbecue, which is teriyaki, which is buffalo sauce and lemon pepper and all the things. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi. Oh, okay. I forgot that I was the one saying it. Ha ha ha. So 90 Day Fiancé is what we're talking about. Have you heard of it? Just kidding. Of course you have. This is the Before the 90 Days spinoff, honey. This is season 6. This is episode 7, and it was called Fatal Attraction. Honey, that Glenn Close, honey, that Michael Douglas, honey, that movie where, she just like gets a crush and won't let go.
Yeah, Michael Douglas was in a lot of good 80s movies, and early 90s. It was like Michael Douglas, Richard Gere, Steve Martin was a big guy in that time. It was like
Bill Pullman. You saw a lot of Bill Pullman, and I don't get to see any more Bill Pullman, honey, and I miss some Bill Pullman.
Yeah, did you watch him in Big Love?
Oh, no.
Okay, so Big Love was
I know what it is.
Okay, great. Or for the audience who doesn't know, Big Love is is a show from do you guys remember a time in your life when HBO really was like, listen, we're cutting edge, okay? We're all the things. And Big Love was one of those last big not blockbuster, one of those big shows where everybody had like a huge following. It was like True Blood, Big Love, Deadwood, all those greats. Now they're not so much known for it now. I want those stuff in the game.
Well, yeah, Succession they had going, which was a good one for them. But I think that, upon HBO's, and Warner Brother Discovery's mix, I think that they went from what you said, which was let's be cutting edge, to let's do the opposite. Let's completely go in the opposite direction, which is what there's like whoever's making decisions right now in the media landscape is just out of pocket. Is that the word? I almost said socket.
I thought you were on to say pup, and I was like, out of pups? What?
Out of pocket right now. Like they're those giants that are like running like David Zaslav and Bob, all of them, they're crazy and insane, honey. They're just like making all the moves where they're just like, they want to like starve their writers and the actors. I don't know. All I'm saying is I don't mean to get political about it, but they're bananas. And yeah, HBO is no longer HBO. It's Max is some part of WB.
Isn't it crazy that like they took on the name Max as opposed to keeping home box office? Because like HBO to me is a bigger name than Cinemax. I don't know. So it felt like, wow, this little ass company just got bought out, and they're just being called Max. And so what we know as the home box office is no longer.
It seemed like such a specific brand of quality television that they were like, not important.
Yeah, Newsroom, so good. Okay, so we're here to talk about 90 Day Fiancé Before the 9 Days and Fatal Attraction. You guys, we know they're doing the 80s themed. It felt like we were going to get Pretty in Pink and maybe some other stuff, but then they took another turn. They did Dangerous Liaisons, and then they did Fatal Attraction. The only thing I can think next is Basic Instinct, or what's another thriller? Who knows? We'll think about it when it comes out, and we'll be like, yeah, I knew that.
Basic Instinct would be great, like especially because like you could easily have something where like Jasmine like flashes someone.
Yeah, you're right.
I know. I know.
Always on point, Chris. Always on point. Okay, so first couple that we're going to talk about is Statler and Dempsey. Do we have a picture? Is this them? No.
I did have a picture from the episode, but they're the ones we for some reason don't have. But
okay.
Listen, we want to show them now. We can. Here they are.
Great. We can also pretend that these two people are them too.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So with them, yeah. So we've got what's her face who has just gotten off a plane, Statler, and she is worried. This is the backstory. She's worried that Dempsey won't show up. Her insecurities kind of take over because of the many flights that she needs in order to get to the, not flights, she planes, trains, and automobiles. I mean, she got out like what I can only imagine is Heathrow, and then like went to the train and just like took a 3-hour ride to like Manchester.
She absolutely did, which by the way is something that I've also done. I took a plane to Heathrow and then got on a 4-hour train ride to Edinburgh. So, but yeah, she gets in, honey. Okay, so she's wearing really cute clear glasses, which I like, commend her for. She gets in this cab, honey, and this cab driver gives us the cockneyest of cockney, like, hello, where you off to? Oh, yeah, that port is in, it's real rural. You're just like, oh my God, God bless. He was giving me all of it. Well, I knew what I just did, but she's welcome. So he's like, yeah, so obviously the girl's flight's delayed. So she now has to go to the hotel that she already paid for in advance that they were supposed to like meet up at, which is supposed to be super cute. And it's called the Cow Hollow, honey. So can you, in your like literary, nightmareness of what you like in your taste, literary wise, what does that mean?
A hollow is yes, thank you for telling me. So there's Sleepy Hollow. There's different types of hollow. A hollow is like I usually think of it as a mound with like that like when I think of it in Lord of the Rings, like it's a mound of grass that one can just like walk into. But let me see. That's only in the fantasy world. Let me see what a hollow is. Google it.
I was gonna say, so do they use it sexually for a woman?
No.
Like, because I, for some reason, I don't know if this is a whole ass thing, or how like sometimes you read something once as a kid and it sticks with you. You're like, well, everyone thinks of it that way. I read like erotica once where they referred to the woman's like basic food. I don't know if it's a pupa or whatever the area is that like, as being the mound of Venus.
Oh.
Like a pitcher's mound, but like a mound. They called it the mound of Venus. And so I always think that everyone thinks of that upper P area as being mound, but no.
Okay. So in this one, it says hollow, a low wooded area such as a copse, which doesn't help me at all. And then it says hollow, a small tree, V-shaped ravine.
V-shaped! V-shaped.
A small landform,
like
a small, yeah, I'll fix it. Yeah, a small V-shaped ravine type valley, a tree hollow, a void in the branch or a trunk of a tree, which we know what a tree hollow is. But yeah, I always tend to think of it. It says it's some small V-shaped ravine type of valley. But yeah, so it can be a lot of different things. Apparently, it's a V-shaped type of valley.
Boy, do I understand that. So, yeah. You don't like what happens. I'll let you go.
I mean, well, the thing is though, like she's sitting in that cab and she's like, this is the moment that decides the rest of my life. And we're all like, no, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
If you were on the top of like a mountain and you're about to ski down and you're about to win some kind of record, that would be, or you're either going to win the record or you're going to like break a limb or die, right? That is the moment that's going to decide the rest of your life. This is not. And if the rest of your life decides on whether Dempsey likes you, that is it's a rough place to be. She gets to the Cow Hollow and she puts her backpack on the bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was, I don't, you know how tired I would have to be to put my backpack on the bed? I would have to be out of my mind. If you ever saw me just sit on a bed after I got off a train, it's because I'm like out of my mind.
Your body needs comfort. You're like like at that point, you're like a sim character. You're on red,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she goes to bed and then she wakes up, honey, and she's like, in Christmas cottage pajamas, like like it's snowing outside, and it's gone to hell, honey. In that one night where she looks horrible and she's so pretty and she has been like pooping all night and she's like somehow pooping on camera, or they make it seem like we hear it. I'm not quite sure. I don't understand what's wrong with 90 Day Fiancé that thinks that we like want to be up in people's like body business. This like, I do not need to hear, codependent guy. I don't need to hear. I don't want to. Wait, just fine. So let me just enjoy my life. Go back to HBO, honey. less max. So basically, she's like, I'm going through it. Yeah, I don't even know how I'm gonna like even meet her. I was supposed to meet her there, but I'm just gonna have her come here, and she makes a doctor's appointment, and she just looks horrible. Well, horrible.
What did you think of her point when she mentioned the bed? Like, she couldn't get over the fact that like things in, at least in this part of Europe that she's in, is just like smaller than the US. Like, she wants it Texas big because she's from Texas, but they don't have that. It's all small. But what did you think? Did she have a point you felt about the bathroom and this hotel space being so close together?
Well, it only in context, because I know for the exact reason you just said, that what she has known and what she expects and probably what she wants, which is like sexy time. And yeah, that is the distance between where your ear on the bed is and where the sound that you don't want her to hear is very close. So I do listen. I get it. Especially if for any reason I thought I was spending extra money to not have that proximity there. But then again, Europe be Europe.
Right, it does. It'd be what it is. And so yeah, so she's like terrible and she's not doing well. And it's a parasite. God.
Well, how did she get it? Like she got like I don't like when I think of someone getting a parasite, I think of you bathing in water that like you should not have bathed in. Like you went to a river, you went to like a waterfall, and or you drank water where you should not have. So this snatch, not a car snatch, somehow drank water on the plane or from the plane, just like the first thing she drank in the airport of Heathrow, or like what the Cockney driver gave her a bottle of water. That I mean, like what happened? Where did she get the parasite?
I mean, like, one, you can get parasites from being under waterfalls. I've never done it, but I won't now.
Well, okay. So this why I say that is, and by the way, am I like a parasite doctor? Obviously, yes. I'm a rapper and a parasite doctor. But like sometimes, like because I really love the idea of going into springs and lakes and stuff. But like somewhere, and I remember like Hawaii, they had like signs that was like you can't go in here because like it's hot water, and so like if there's like there's bacteria that can be like breeding in there, and it's like bad for you to go in there. And in that kind of way, that's what I'm saying. Like, is that where you get parasites?
It's like Paul and Carini in like the Amazon River and him putting on that whole full suit to get in the water. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you get parasites. To me, parasite is like poo water. You know what I mean? Like she was drinking from like a lake and there might have been like things in it, but I don't know how she got it, but that's crazy that her stomach was acting up like that. And so they ended up like, she was like crouching on the corner and they end up meeting each other and she is so awkward. But did you not want to see her butt? I did. I wanted to see Dempsey's butt after that. Go ahead.
We will. Well, I was like, oh, is that Danielle? Is that Danielle's butt? Yeah, like they edited in such a way that she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna drop my pin, and then you just like see the bottom torso and legs of both of them, and they both look somewhat similar. Like they're both wearing gray, like yoga leggings, and so they get there, and yeah, Statler at first is almost feeling like she's doing a bit, where it's like, hey, like this is like it's like her Statler is like, wow, you're really gorgeous. Those eyes are so good. No, this is nice. No, this is not awkward. You're not awkward. I'm not awkward. Wow. No, I'm just so happy to have met you. You're so beautiful. And tonight we'll see. We'll see what it is. It's like I would feel awkward because if I was Dempsey, I'd be like, is this real? And do you not like me? And or I mean, I don't know. I think that I don't know, because I'm insecure. I just be like, is this a real person and thing? But like, I guess they've talked on the phone. I mean, she knows this. But yeah, like that's their picture. You want to like sleep in my bed? Like she kind of goes into this sort of like 7-year-old, if 7-year-old had her first crush, like they're gonna like, yeah. I mean, it's so funny because yeah, they do feel like modern Victoria's sleepover sisters.
I thought it was weird the way she's like, you want to come sleep in my bed, as though they didn't already have that plan. That would throw me off.
Oh yeah, well, because she was like, we're going back to the hotel, and then I was like, oh, does Dempsey have her own room?
No, they were supposed to meet there together and spend the night together, but Providence would have it that she would have her tapeworm alone. And remember how upset she was that the girl couldn't meet her because she missed her flight from Thailand. and it all worked out. So I want Statler to like apologize for being for being crazy, because the girl got stuck in Thailand. She was like, is she tricking me? And I'm like, wow, you really are really, really insecure for someone who has just like been talking to you for the last however long. And the moment they're like, hey, this thing happened, you're like, the world is crumbling. I guess for me, maybe I would have purchased the ticket to London already thinking that some shit might happen. So the least I could do is have a good time if that person didn't show. But that's just me. So she says that she, can I see your butt? And then she like looks and she's like, oh, it's great. And I'm like, oh, I would like to see it too.
Yeah, I mean, if I know the editors and other producers, they won't set up that storyline without giving us a little payoff, a little butt off. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about them.
All right, well, let's take this moment to go on a commercial, and thanks.
We're gonna go on a commercial. We're gonna go on a commercial flight.
5.
We're gonna take a commercial flight to,
Where's my?
Okay, let me get I just want to see this one email quickly.
Okay, I'm gonna go get my pen. Hold on, Patreon.
Oh, thank God. Okay, great. Great. I had texted Gabby if she could meet up tonight, but
I don't have my headphones on, so if you're talking to me, I hear something happening, but I don't know if you're talking to me or not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what happened? You just what? Would you just like slapped yourself?
Oh. Oh, she left. Okay. Ow. Oh, God. Oh, she's back. Or she, whatever.
Okay, she's okay. Are you okay?
Yeah.
You need a Band-Aid or anything, babe?
No, it just pinched me, and pinches hurt.
Aw, pinches do hurt. Pinches do hurt. You're cute. Pinches do hurt.
It hurt. Commercial.
I know it does. I know it does.
15:55. Okay, just like this thing, and just like, ugh.
So I really do hate pinches. I know. I'm so sorry. I'm not being like mean. I'm just.
My pin was here the whole time, hiding behind all my junk. Did you do your email?
I just wanted to read the gist of it, which I was happy about. But I also see, only because I also I messed up because of the thing, and so I wanted to see if Gabby could possibly be tonight, and also check to see if she had written me back, because I had emailed her, but I had not yet, which is totally fine. It's my own fault. Anyway, go on.
Okay, you want to jump back in?
Yeah.
Hi, Patreon. Okay, we're back.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. You loved that commercial, didn't you?
Yeah, honey. We went on a commercial jet. Airplane flight to your next couple, which is
in Panama.
Yeah. Honey, they gave us another word for him to say with A's. Canal.
Oh, yeah, the Panama Canal.
Yeah. I mean, I was just like, this is unbelievable. So here we are. So, I mean, we couldn't, come on. So yeah, as we now a hilarious thing is that, he's been the entire time an engineer nerd, honey, just on the hunt for the architectural wonders of the world. And, he's been to so many beautiful wonders of Panama and after not really want to be in Jasmine's canal, honey, he goes to the Canal of Panama. And he says it like I said it, which is canal, and to see how it is. And then it's like, it's very interesting. I actually love, as I've already mentioned on this podcast, bodies of water, but I like, like I have a whole ass thing. Oh, hi face, with natural waterfalls. I mean, I love waterfalls. Like I love the rushing water of waterfalls. So I understand kind of like seeing the canal, like seeing how it would work would be great. And like if you see the water rushed out, you'd be like, holy shit. And but everything about this scene's crazy. Well,
I think that I think that Gino just needs to understand that if the camera comes with them anywhere, that Jasmine is going to act. And like, it is silly of him to have gone to this place that he really wanted to go with a camera crew.
yeah.
Like, he should have went by himself, or he should make plans in the moment she started talking that he was going to end up going back by himself, because his behavior is so stupid. So he wants to see all the engineering because he's an engineer, and we're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And it gets there, and Jasmine's like, baby, this was built when the Americas wanted to get to another like, she just starts to go into this thing as though he doesn't know what the Panama Canal is. And then she's like, it's like one of the things that your country and my country we do together, and it's like we make this thing, it's like you and me. And he's like, yeah, very awesome. And he just doesn't want her to talk at this moment. He wants to just look at the water lower, look at the water rise, watch the boats go through. Your country and my country has a long history. Yeah. Yes, man. I just want to enjoy the canal. I want to Panama, and I want to watch the canal. Um, so she gets upset, and she's like, "Baby, why are you so defensive?" And he's like, and then she does something with her hands, like expressively, like not being rude. And then he does it back to her. Chris, what did you think of this part?
He is pissed and sitting on information, and one of his chief objectives this trip, it's like, as a character, he was like, the story arc is, you're gonna try and stand up for yourself, and you're not gonna let her just walk all over you. So you're gonna, and so he is sitting on this information about Dane, and he feels some way about it. And so, as well as, she's always pushing him, so he can't just sit in something and ignore something and pretend it's not happening, which is what he wants to do with everything that's awkward all the time, but she won't allow it because he, like, he isn't able to pretend everything's okay and like treat her well and kiss her and stuff like that. So it's like, it's just, I don't know, it's just a goddamn nightmare. It's really messy. So I mean, that's what it is, right? And so they bring up Dane, and basically she admits that he lives in the same building and admits that they boned after, that they dated, but she tries to then be like, but we don't like each other, don't you understand that? And he sort of presses her, but like, but like, that's absolutely cheating and you would hate me if I did it. And she's like, well, I don't really just like, I mean, it's not that I want to be with him. Like, I don't fantasize about like being with him when I'm with you. I mean, I sort of do. Yeah. I mean, like, well, in the sense of, I think, oh God, because you make me feel horrible. You are the one that like, won't have sex with me. And I've said that. I mean, you brought me to this canal, honey. You won't see my canal. As I already said, Chris made that joke and I won't do it. So anyway, she's like so pissed about it. And then like, he further is just like, no, I'm the one persecuting you now it's my time. And what you are going to do is say sorry or acquiesce to me for this Dane shit, and she is like, manipulate. It's like that's what it is to me.
Yeah, she definitely doesn't like, she can't be dished her own meal. And she jumps around about it, and she's like, you unlocked several levels of insecurities in me. And I was like, good use of that colloquialism. But basically that's what happens. They get into an argument, and then like, he can't open his trail mix, and she's like, baby, can I help you? She's looking at him like he's such a fucking idiot. And she's like, can I help you? And he's like, no, my hands are just slippery. He's trying to blame the humidity that he can't open it, and he gets upset. Like, he's just such a child, and she just has to, I don't know. He I like her, and I don't like him.
You like her?
Yeah, I'm on Jasmine's side. I mean, even though she's wrong about Dane, she would flip a lid if it was the other way around. But I feel like I see what she's trying to give me, and I appreciate it. I'm picking up what she's putting down.
I just can't abide. Okay, great. Good for her, not for me. So basically, yeah, he accuses her of cheating, and and that's kind of the end of them. So do you want to move these onsies?
Oh yeah, Tyree. You mean this is Tyree is not even before the 90 days. Tyree is just like a little catfish episode. And I don't understand why we're being pulled along on this ride. It is fully unnecessary. They could have gotten everything about Tyree in 3 episodes. Why didn't they just give him his own little segment on Discovery Plus? Like I feel like this is an exploiting this delicate black man. One, two, it's not 90 days before the 90 days. It's not. This is catfish. And I don't even want to talk about him. So you can go ahead and talk about him. I just want them to not never do this again. This feels like Chris,
Oh,
Chris, this is stupid, right? He's been on what? Out of the 7 episodes, he's been in 4 or 5.
I'm so happy because I frequently do what you're doing, which is just I feel like have like a viewpoint which I wasn't expecting. I didn't expect you to come out swinging with this, where you're like, I don't want to watch him. Like I know, I of course it's different. Yeah, it's, and is it as fluid and great a storyline? No, but is it different and am I mad about it? I mean, I'm not mad about it. I'm kind of just like I'm at this point a little bit along for the ride because he is such a lovable and humble character, even though he's delusional to the point where this is like, I mean, where you're just like, you don't want to be like taking advantage of him. But I'm watching wanting the best for him. So let's just say the outcome of this storyline is good. Let's just say it is. Let's just say, and we can throw out this hypothesis that he meets the person. It's a guy or a transgender male to female, or it's a female that who knows, like let's just say that he meets this person's obviously not going to be who he thought it's going to look like, and he just got that. But what if they like each other? And what if, because Catfish had that, and obviously Jenny and Sumit had that. So like, what if this is a good ending? Wow.
Jenny Sim. Okay, if it's a good ending,
Yes.
okay. But I will eat my words then. But at this point, I'm just like, no, because Jenny and Sumit, she found out he was a real person, even though it wasn't the same person before she came on the show. This is like
Yes.
us watching a 5-episode arc or 4-episode arc of this person refusing to believe that the person at the end of the line is not a catfish. I still want to meet him or her. I just don't believe it. How? You didn't talk to this person at all via phone or video chat. So this can just be fake. I don't know. It's just whatever. But you can talk about what happened in this episode.
Okay, so basically, him and his sister go to a detective. And, his name is Louis. Louis, says his name like so many times. I'm like, we get it, Louis. Louis. Okay, Louis. We get it, Louis. And he basically is like a reverse image search. We're like, yes, we know, we understand. He's like, but then this happened, and I found out that she's more than just an escort. She's just like a full porn star, honey. He said the word star, which I was like, that's interesting, because I don't think she's like a star to me,
She's a cam girl, wasn't she, or something like that? I mean, Chris is so stupid. Oh, she's an escort. Oh, she does. It's all sex work. She's a sex worker.
Yeah, like there's no way that if she's an escort that she wouldn't do cam, because cam is easier than escorting.
Exactly. Like it's so dumb. It's so dumb. And he's like, I still want to go to Barbados. His mother's like, for what? And we're all like, for what?
Anything is better than being in that apartment, Wah.
God, with all that shit underneath the couch. Ugh.
Oh, I love you so much. So basically, as Wah says, okay, so after that conversation with the detective's like, no, she's a porn star. And then he literally, for the first time, says this, which is, I mean, like when we hear him say that, we're like, oh my God, Tyree, which is, it seems like this woman that's in the pictures and the woman that I was talking to are two different people. And we're like,
the
we're
delusion.
like,
We are watching this.
who, how do you, who type, like, you're just like, "Ooh," like, "Oh my god, yes, yes to that." I would say so he says 2 couple of things. Okay, 2 couple of things, what is it? He's like, "What makes no sense." He says a couple of things, which is one is that, which is like and then he says, "I still have a hope that the person I was talking to is now being influenced by their boyfriend or husband that's keeping us away."
A pimp. That's the last episode. It was a
It's a
pimp.
pimp. So
The episode,
now,
I just like,
yeah. Uh like I wish that he'd be like, you know who it is? It's Larry Flint. Larry Flint's keeping her from me. Like, just like what? Like, but okay, so basically, yes, they go back to the apartment and he has his other sister there and he won't tell the other sister what's happening until the mom is out there, and the mom's out there, honey, and he's like, "Look, so have some things to be saying. So I met this woman and she's from Barbados." And they're like, "Barbados? But that's where you went. That's where you went." And the mom's like, "When I was in the hospital." And he's like, "Yeah, that's where I was at that time."
yeah, because I didn't have to take care of you. The hospital people did, so it was my time to have a vacation.
Yeah.
Also, his mother's wig. What were they drinking? Was that a cider of some sort? But then also the mother's wig. And why didn't the sister say, "Mom, I'm not gonna let you go out and be on the cameras with that wig"? That wig was just like the wrong color and just like hanging off this way. I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't watch the episode. I saw the mom sitting in the wheelchair with that, not the episode. I didn't watch this segment, but I saw the mom sitting in the wheelchair, and I saw them sitting with like some wine coolers, and I was just like, I can't partake in this shenanigans.
Because if it's shenanigans now, it'll
Shenanigans later.
I'll kill you all. Why do you do that to me, Why?
Because I couldn't quite remember what the thing is, and I didn't want to let you down. It was yes anding.
Okay, and the answer is they'll shenanigans again.
Yes. Yes, they'll shenanigans again.
Wa taught me that, which is why I'm like, you were the first person to say that to me, which is why, okay. I'm not being mean. Of course I'm being mean, but like I'm being mean with a pointed purpose. Okay, I'm not, okay, it's fine, it's fine. So, basically, as we said, that's what happens. And, he's embarrassed. He's ashamed. He's still delusional. He's going there. So like, those are all I'll be honest, and all of those qualities make a good reality star. Because he will still do the thing that he shouldn't do on camera, even though that other people would feel the things that stops them from doing the things, like the shame and the self-consciousness and the reality checks and the grounded family and friends that bring them down to earth. But I love you. While you're like, why did the sister not help the mom's wig? Like, all right, well, it looks like, babe, like across the line, they're not checking in to many different people's needs that are not being fulfilled. I love you. Okay. I'll be my mom. Mama?
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, I'm with my mom. Is what you heard you say.
I'll move on.
Okay, great. Let's move on to Chloe and Christian.
Jesus.
She's gonna say that they make good TV. Okay.
He does. He does.
So wherein we watch a man who is uncomfortable with silence and being with one other person just make an absolute fool of himself. I knew he was going to do something, but I didn't realize it was going to be, it's so self-serving for himself. Like, we start off where they wake up the next morning and his hair is just doing whatever his hair does. And she's waking up like, I've been up for an hour. And
she didn't sleep 1 week. I know she did, because I know she never slept. Can you imagine? He's like, how did I sleep? She's like, hey, he tossed and turned a little bit. You didn't snore. And because she probably just like every 5 seconds, like, I know she did.
Oh, good insight.
All because I would. Okay.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't sleep. The first night with someone in my bed, I not nary sleep. Unless, not nary.
Yeah. No, I know. I caused you a lot of distress. So she gets up and she puts on the estrogen gel, which is like the first thing, hey, this is me, this is trans. She's not giving herself injections like I thought, or doing pills like some do. And he's like, is it gonna get on me? There's a whole conversation about if he touches her, is the estrogen gonna get him? And I didn't like that. I was like, you already have some estrogen in you because A, you came from a woman, and B, you think that if someone who puts it on topically, if you touch them, you're gonna get the estrogen too. You think you're just gonna fucking um transition? The
Honey,
fuck?
the estrogen's gonna get you. The estrogen's gonna get you. The estrogen's
Estrogen's
gonna
gonna get
get you.
you.
Estrogen's gonna get you
uh,
tonight.
mm,
Dun, dun,
mm,
dun, dun, dun.
mm,
Away, away. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
You know, I'll be honest. I was interested in the sense that I didn't know that there was such a thing as the topical hormone. So I did not
Mhm.
know that. So that part was of interest to me. And it was also, it's of interest that he wasn't comfortable with it. And he's in confessionals saying that he's not quite comfortable. And it's obvious because, and I'm not saying, okay, it's obviously he's not comfortable. And there'd be lots of reasons for people not to be uncomfortable on this show. He gives me Caleb vibes of Caleb and Katrine, what's her name?
The little person.
Yeah, I know, but what's her name?
We have to forget about her. She's racist.
I know. So, but we all know what I'm talking
Caleb
about, and we
and
can forget her name. If she's
Anya.
racist.
Wait,
No.
Caleb and Olga. Caleb and
Oh Lord.
Anna. No. Caleb and maybe
You
was
know
it
what?
Anna?
It could. Anna, don't know. Anyway, so I'm so sorry. But basically, we don't know. But it kind of gives me those vibes. Remember how Caleb came, and some people were like, "Is he just like wanting to see what life's like, and like on, is he trying different things? Is he just, I don't know. It almost feels like that where he remember how that person wasn't comfortable at first, like giving a lot of demonstrative affection, and so people were like, well, "What's happening here?" And she really wanted them to like get super close. Now, Chloe is a class into herself that is like elegance and grace that girl wasn't. So remember that girl was like pressuring Caleb. This Chloe's not.
Yeah.
Chloe is an like a supreme and divine being of like grace and it's, I think so far has presented herself to be like nothing but someone who is incredibly compassionate and aware and dealing with autism and stuff like that, so anyway,
Yeah.
so but yeah, he is being awkward. There a conversation of like, oh, what do you want to do, like what do you want to like a schedule for the day. He takes it instead of being like, well, I'm not going to schedule anything, I just like to go buy shoes with my parents. And it's like, okay, like why not just take it as like, oh, what I was thinking for today, maybe just like see whatever and just kind of like walk around. Like, why does it have to be like, well, I don't want to have to plan anything? And she's like, okay. Now, of course, I like to plan because of the whole autism thing. And that would be nice if he was at all sensitive to that, but not at all. But okay, I'd have to bend over backwards for him and his sensitivity. And specifically in relationship to me. And it's a lot of me watching this beautiful woman like acquiesce to a really horrible, what I feel like, choice for her.
Well, one thing that she is she loves a brown tan earth color, scheme. She has on what looks like brown leather bell bottom pants. Not fully belled, but like more of a flare, less of a bell, more of a flare, but more than a boot cut. And she goes out with him and he just is uncomfortable. So only thing that he wants to do is do things that make him comfortable so that he can be good with her. And the things that make him comfortable make her and me uncomfortable. And the truth is that you want somebody to be fully aware of what you're going through as a partner or whatever, right? But he can't. And for me, I would have had to let him go as soon as he turned around and talked to those other women, especially after he just finished telling me a fucking story about how he was drunk on a plane, running around talking to women. And then those women told on him. And so then the flight attendant was like, you can't have any more drinks. And he thought that was hee hee ha ha to tell her.
Yeah, okay, I agree with you. That's exactly what I was gonna say okay. So he's been the whole time dropping hints like, I want to see you lose, I want to see you drink, I want to see you dance. And she's like, okay, great. And so exactly what Kwa said, he goes to this place. Now again, I don't understand this because, like, if you know someone has sensory issues, this bar that they go to, and granted they're in London, so I don't understand why they get to this bar, whatever. Like, why isn't there not a better bar? Like, could she not have, like, like acquiesced? Could she not have, I don't know, steered this ship? But they go to a rebel rousing hooligan young bar with, every color happening. It's just too much to me. And he orders 2 drinks. Sounds like he orders the same drink, which is what I swear they call it, like a sour Prince Charles or something like that. Then they bring down 2 separate drinks in, like, what looks like different, disgusting looking vehicles for a drink. The kind of vehicles for a drink that make you know how sweet and syrupy and gross the drink is, and how the clientele of that place wants that kind of drink. So how gross the clientele is and how gross the place. Like, everything says to me in this thing. He's like, oh, I can't even taste the alcohol. And then he's like, which is bad and good. And then he's like, watch for a second. I just have to get in on this. And he just like downs it. And then, as Wah says, starts, the most banana story that is like, yeah, I'm really social, and I just like got drunk on the plane, and then I started walking around and I met these 2 women on the plane, and they're young, they're 21 and they're blonde. Anyway, so then, yeah, I say, I'm gonna go get you guys drinks, and I walk back to my area, which makes me feel like, what are you like in economy, and these people are like in business class? Like, disgusting. Anyway, God bless, but I'm elitist. So anyway, the people there, like the waitresses, this flight attendant, it's like, no, we're not serving you anymore, which makes me feel like he's drunk. And then he's like, why? He's like, we've heard stories. So it makes me feel like the girls did it. They're probably like, when he left, they were like, please don't have him come back. Don't let him come back to business. Like, straight up, that's what happened. And he has no idea. So he presents the story as like being, I don't even know what it's supposed to be about, how fun he is, when he realizes it makes him look bad. And then I think he turns it around on Chloe to be like, oh, does that upset you that they were young and gorgeous and 21? I was talking to them. Like, I hate him so much in this moment. He's repulsive to me. Wow. I think he's crazy and repulsive.
Yeah. And she's like, well, why did you tell me that story? Do you want me to know? Like, why did he have to say they were 21 and women? He could have just said, I got drunk and I went and sat next to these people and we're talking to them and they got annoyed. Like, it is just the craziest story, and she has to like piece through it and put it together to see what it actually is. And then, maybe she's mentioned that she's autistic and like loud noises upset her, and like, she gets overwhelmed. Maybe she has mentioned this, but like, he's so uncomfortable and probably awkward that he doesn't know what to do. So he's like, I could talk to anybody anyway. He just turns around and starts talking to these Brits, and it's her birthday. She's 26. And he's like, yeah, I'm just here. And he's like, yeah, bring your chair closer. Now, let me tell you right now, Chris.
No.
Let me tell you fucking right
You tell
now.
me. You tell me. Yeah, you tell me.
If I am in a conversation with you and you turn around and start having a conversation with some other people who I don't like the look of, or I don't like the look of, you know what I mean? If you turn around and start talking to somebody and something, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to that person, just on sight, I know I don't want to talk to them, I'm walking away. In fact, she's nice. I would have gotten up and said I was going to the bathroom and then gone to the flat and text him on my way in the cab and been like, yeah, it was too much for me. I'm so sorry. And his ass would have partied all night. I know that. And like, this is why she can't be with him. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he is scared of the estrogen gel, like, is the estrogen gonna get you? Estrogen gonna.
I knew you'd like that.
Ya.
I knew you'd like that.
So estrogen's gonna get him, and then he can't even have a night where he just like talks to his girl, like in a calm environment, or says like, "Hey, let's get some alcohol and go back and pet the kitties" or something. He is just, and he's like, "You got everything?" And she's like, "Yep," and they leave. I just don't get it.
I think that he is an alcoholic and he's crazy, and he maybe has like some even narcissism. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
And he in his mind, I think that he's like, we're going to get drunk and all the awkwardness is going to go away, and suddenly we can be like sexy and flirty and, or I don't know, like, or what, it's so uncomfortable and so disrespectful, and so it's all, she's classy. He's trashy.
It's hard for me too, because I I used to be her in certain situations where like I would go out with guys and I would tell them I didn't drink because I didn't, because it would give me raging migraines and they wouldn't know how to deal with it. They would actually feel like I somehow had the upper hand on them because they wanted to drink, or I was like judging them like, well, you don't mind if I have something. No, I don't. Well, I really wish you would just have something. Well, I can't. So and it's just like this thing where you cannot tell someone no, and he seems like that kind of guy. Um,
Oh,
because they
absolutely.
just won't get it. Also, I was getting my nails done, which very simple nails this time,
Hmm.
and I was telling her about the show because she's a like native Midwestern. She's a native Minnesotan, and I was like, the guy is from Edina, and she was like, let me see. So I showed her a picture. I was like, I hope you know him. She's like, I don't know him, but he looks like he's from Edina. I was like, oh. So then I also showed her Misha, and she was like, I don't know who she is either, but she's beautiful. And I was like, yes, she is. We were on her side. All right,
Oh.
that's all I have to say about them. Do you have anything else?
Nope. Let's move on.
All right, let's talk on to these fools, which is Violet and Riley.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So basically, they're meeting up, and she says it's because she has to educate him, Riley, on how he has been rude in Vietnam, specifically customs to her. And so they meet up, and basically, she said that they obviously are hot off having met her mom, her child, and her sister, whatever. And so and he had brought like presents for the children and stuff and not for the mom, and the mom had called that out. So she goes, I talked to my mom and she feels like you're very controlling, and also you're not thoughtful, specifically because you didn't bring a gift for my mom. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry that I didn't bring a gift. I wish that you had told me. Like, why didn't you tell me? And she's like, why didn't you ask? And there was that. But it's interesting because he, of course, has been sitting on what has been insensitive to him, which was the fact that in the shop, which they haven't gone back yet to get the garment. I mean, I don't know if it's been made yet. She admitted in a joking but very factual way to having been talking about his ugliness and or what he looks like to her friend. So, and then when he brought that up, he said in that made him feel bad. And of course, in relation to the fact that he is a very tall black man in a country of not tall, no black people, and therefore already feels so other that to be like, sort of like ridiculed in that way was, I mean, very triggering to him. And I mean, I thought it was rude in the moment. And I'm glad that he said that. Like listen, Riley is not someone I can hang my hat on for all of his decisions, but I heard him here.
You're right. I heard him here as well. But then I also thought, then don't fucking go to Vietnam to find a little demure woman that you want to be with. Because, yeah, when I went to Japan, did everybody stop? Yes. Did people try to take pictures with me? Yes. Because they're fucking racist. But, or not racist, just fucking rude. And something about my humanity doesn't seem real to them, right? That happens. That happened to me in New York City when I would sell someone shoes and like, can I take a picture with you? And it'd be like, this is weird, but you just spent $1,000. So, it happens.
No, just she just posed like with a little peace sign. That's LOL. Yeah, I
So
mean,
it happens.
yeah.
But I get him because as a tall, dark-skinned person, I know that's a thing, but I'm also not rushing off to countries where I will be the tallest, darkest person there. So like that's also me. That's also me. Not to say that he deserves that, but his colorism issues are coming up, which makes me go, oh, maybe they made fun of him, because that's what happens to sometimes dark black men, is that they get made fun of for being dark by black women and they just like run from us. So I've heard that, I asked my brother about it. He was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it happens to some people. All right. So yeah, she says all that, but they do go to a nice dinner. Chris, tell me what you thought about this dinner.
She gets to wear a sexy dress. She, he says she looks nice. She compliments the way that he looks, which is listening to what he had just been, said. And she makes him feel like it's all good. And they start to have a conversation, and it starts to veer a little bit towards a negativity, like you shouldn't do this kind of things. And he apologizes immediately. So basically, she brings up the fact that she has a relationship with the dad, which of course we know because she'd been texting the dad things that she shouldn't do, which is when they're fighting, sort of like, tattling on him. And so he's like, yeah, and I don't really love that. But then she's like, okay, but let's not right now. And he's like, yeah, totally. Apologies. And this part is specifically interesting because then what happens is now he calls his sister and puts the sister on the phone and immediately is like, yeah, FaceTime, just hold it right here, Violet. Just like use your hand because I'm going to go to the bathroom, and it's like, that's already telling. So he leaves, goes to the bathroom, and she's like, hi, Violet, you're so beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful. And so why did you not get off the dating website? Like immediately. And Violet's like, and he comes back and she wants him to like help her. And he, does not have the vibe of someone who is like, oh, how did this happen? Oh, don't speak ill of my lady. Oh, we're just having a nice dinner. How about a different time? No, he definite vibe of like, oh, it's been planned. I'm a wimpy pussy who needs a woman to do my handiwork, and I'm happy that my big sis is coming in or whatever. I don't know. It looks like a younger sis. My sister's helping me. What?
He's wearing a white suit. He's wearing a white suit with like a salmon or pink or like maybe like a light peach shirt. And we think immediately, are you getting married? Where and why did you purchase this white suit? Was it a suit? Were you somebody's best man and that was the color that they chose for the entourage? It's not what we want. So there's that. There's number one. Number two, she looks at him for aid and he's like, don't look at me, answer the question. And I think to myself, why would you do that? Now, the truth is that she did it to you. She brought you in front of her family and her family said whatever, and you've done things to her while you've
right.
been there. That's fine, but it still feels, unfortunately, in my brain zeitgeist, that, which I know it's wrong because if this were my nephew, I'd fight her. But like men sometimes are expected to take a certain amount of pain or rudeness from women and are supposed to just deal with it. And in this moment, he's not dealing with it. He's allowing another person to deal with it. And that's why it feels petty. It's kind of like that thing. It's like when you're mad at a girl, you don't, as a guy, like, when I was younger, this would happen. Like if guys got mad at their girl, they didn't do anything. They let their like cousin or their sister beat her up. And it's like, that's what's happening. It's like you're upset with a woman, but you don't want to do anything to her because you're a man. So you get your female kin to like do the dirty work. And it's supposed to be better than you doing it. However, in this case, Violet's not having it because the truth is that Violet doesn't need Riley. Unless she's getting some money from men, she is not one of these women. She's not like, I'm not going to call out names, but she's not like these other women in the show who need the money or who are using the money that these men provide them for their home and for their kids and for their family. No. Violet said, you can get on the plane and go the fuck back. And so that's why this isn't working out on the same level as I think he wants it to.
Yeah, it's interesting because like it really was like a win-loss for me for him. Like, I personally didn't feel like it was right for her to again like make it seem like he was bad for the present thing, because it's almost like I don't know, I just kind of wish that she has just like maybe had said something just the culture, like think if you have stuff her like it'd be great to have like little flowers, like I don't know. She didn't, and then she was mean to him, and so it was on his side, and then he just ruined it all. So now it's like whatever, and I like her more anyway. Her personality is far superior. So last and certainly not least, we are on to Nicole and Misha. So Nicole and Misha are going to leave Tel Aviv, I think is where they are, and go to Haifa, which I know as being, Haifa Wahbi is one of like the Arab pop stars. It's like an Arab Britney Spears. So Haifa. But it is, like in Israel, and it's kind of like a party town, and she's so excited. And so our first scene is that they kind of like pull up and they're park off the road, and she comes out and she sees an obvious like wedding happened, like picture happened, and she's like, oh my god, everyone's wearing dresses, I have to wear a dress. Meanwhile, he looks like, honey, like he looks like the most basic tourist ever. So she hops in the back and he's weirded out, and she changes into like, like a skin tight rainbow dress, but she feels better about herself. And he at this point says that she's worldly.
Oh yes, when he said that she's worldly, it just took me back to like 95 in church. Like that's the one thing you don't want, is to be of the world. You could be in the world, but you can't be of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where he's starting to be a fucking judgment. This is like my thing of like, this man is just gonna die by himself because he is that stuck in his ways. And
how does a man look at that, a kind of woman like that, and think she's not worldly?
Exactly.
Oh, I guess a 50-year-old virgin.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's unbelievable to me that he was like, she's like, did you, when you saw her, some men are, okay, some men are truly so ignorant, it baffles me to women, truly. And I mean, whether they think that every woman's lips are suddenly bigger in this generation, I don't know. I don't know the answer to anything. By the way, I love the way that Misha looks. She looks gorgeous, but at the same time, obviously a worldly woman, obviously someone who, I mean, like, does a lot to look like that. The fact that he doesn't know that at his age is wild to me. Only because, again, like, he is not in a place where women don't, like, dress up. Like, definitely, okay, I've never been to Israel, but obviously the Middle East is chock full of women with, like, plastic surgery. It's not. Oh, did you know that, Juan?
No, I didn't know they had plastic surgery, but I figured like it's the women there are like beautiful, so I know they do stuff.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, the women there right now, it's all about having the tiniest, like Eastern European noses, like they chop them off in such a way, and they give the lips, they do it all, like everyone looks, they're it's there now too. So it's just like he's the man baffles me. So
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I mean, it is crazy that he doesn't know all that goes into it, but it's another world. It's crazy to me that he tries to judge her for it in a type of way. And it's like, I think sometimes these type of men think that once they just find the right woman, that the woman will just like change and be the house marm that they want them to be. And so he's thinking maybe he's like pulling her from this worldly, but this is where this like judgment starts. So they then they're at this bar, right? Or they're sitting outside of this bar. That's the next thing I remember. She did this quick change, good for her. And she no, they get to this like beautiful scene, and he's like, I wanted you to see the Mediterranean, I wanted you to see the bay and the boats and all this stuff. And then they go to dinner, and she's got on like a flowy orangey hot pink skirt, and he's like judging her about cigarette, like he said something about cigarettes, and she's like, you know what, I let myself have one a year. And he's like, I'm so shocked, Misha. I smell cigarette. I never think Misha cigarette.
You, my pristine angel that has not sinned ever.
Yeah, it is like he doesn't know what to do. So I'm wondering, is this beverage that she has, does this have alcohol in it?
Yes.
Because she surely is smiling at him like whatever. He's like, have a beer. It's okay. It's okay to have a beer. And I'm like, oh, is it okay for have a beer? Why? Because you were drinking one, so you deem it okay? Because I would call that worldly too.
I mean, Jesus drank wine. We all know that, like I mean, the fact that he loves wine so much, honey, like one of the biggest things he did, honey, is just make a bunch of wine, like
I feel like that was just like watered down, like wine. Or do you think all these ancient people are just drinking pure wine the way we're drinking wine? I feel like they didn't have any other kind of like good water to drink, so they drink wine instead, like watered down wine, so they wouldn't get like a parasite.
I mean, if only I was alive during Jesus's times. We know omniscient at all times, at all places, at all times. But basically, this is the LOLiest part. She does have the sense to understand that if he's going to judge her about the smoking once a year on New Year's Eve, that he probably, and the fact that he is so crazy about how Catholics, it's a sin to go to clubs, it's a sin to go to bars, that he would feel some type of way in front of her children. So she has the capacity to ask him. And his answer is like, I have nothing to say about the way you raise your kids, which is not, I won't judge them. And she knows the answer anyway. So even if he lied, it's like very obvious. So then he is very on his high horse, his holier than thou horse, honey, being like, we can go in this place. I'll show it to you, but I'm not going to stay not longer. At first he says 30 minutes, and then it comes down to 5. Okay. And it's like, all right. And then not nary 2 seconds later, this bitch is living his life. I mean, he, honey, is like, it's his first time on the dance floor. It's like I've never seen someone smile so much. I mean, he couldn't be happier. Like I thought in my mind, I was like, is that one shot? Like, is that one? What happened did she make him do a shot?
I think he went in there and saw that there was nobody naked, nor were they doing drugs. It was so dead inside. It was just them two dancing with like a few other people. Like, I think he just was like, what's the sin? The sin is what? Dancing. And so he couldn't, I don't think he had a leg to stand on once he got inside there. Once his like sweet little Misha is just like moving, and he's like, ha ha, I'm the hottest middle-aged woman here, which is true.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, there's something about her that feels like, as holy as she is, there is a perfect kind of temptress vibe of her.
Yeah.
That for someone like him who doesn't want to drink and doesn't want to smoke and doesn't want to bone and doesn't want to show affection and doesn't want to be worldly, she does present the perfect and has been a virgin this whole time. She presents the perfect kind of like test to all that. I mean, like, I wish they would lean into that a little bit, because I would just be, I'd be filled with the Holy Spirit of happiness, That's all I have to say, though.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about them, too. I just want her to break down his dumb walls, or come back to the States and get herself an American who isn't going to be so uptight. Not to say she wouldn't find an American who isn't, but she might have a better chance. All right, you guys. So if you want to see the visuals of what you guys are listening to right now, you can join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties. It's $10 a month. It helps your girls, support us in our journey with this thing. I got an email today that says that today is a year ago, I actually signed up for the podcast. And so in a couple of days will be our anniversary, first year anniversary of episodes going up. So we hope that you've enjoyed what we've been doing so far. And yeah, I'm going to send you to Chris. If you can't do the $10 a month and you can want to follow us on social medias, you can do so. Chris.
On Instagram, we are at DocuSweeties. On TikTok, we are at DocuSweeties. And on Twitter, we are DocuSweeties1, honey. So no matter where you are, though, just remember that the estrogen is going to come and get you.
Estrogen's gonna get you. Estrogen's gonna
get you.
All right, you guys. Bye.